Hey guys, so we're going to be starting with fractions today, and before we go into fractions, guys, we did fractions last year. The only thing this year is we're going to be writing fractions a little bit different, but as far as knowing how many parts are shaded and how many parts are in a whole, we worked on that last year. So before we jump into our lesson, let's go over some fraction vocabulary. So what is a fraction? So a fraction is a number that names a part of a whole. Okay. Oh, and you also need this paper. You have this paper. It says Math Tuesday. So, for instance, guys, this is a fraction right here. There are 4 parts in my whole. Okay. So they're parts of a whole. Here are my parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be parts of a group. Here's my group. I have 1, 2, 3 parts in my group. Okay, so for instance, this fraction right here, I have 2 that are shaded, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this fraction over here, this is a fraction of a whole, and the reason we say it's a whole, guys, because if you notice, these parts they're not pulled apart. They're in this square, a triangle, a rectangle, so they're together. They're not separated. This is called a group because these parts are separated. In this one, I have 2 that are shaded out of 3. Okay, this part's going to be new, guys, because we didn't really talk about how to write a fraction that way. But as far as knowing how many are shaded out of the group or out of the whole, we talked about that last year. So these words are going to be new to us. Numerator. So what is a numerator? The number above the fraction line. So right here is an example. This is my fraction line. Tells how many parts. Okay. So the number above the fraction line tells how many parts are being counted or shaded. So let's look at our example. Here I have 1, 2 that are shaded. So parts that are shaded or counted. Okay, or if I said he ate 2 pieces of the cookie, 1, 2, out of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this top is called a numerator. That's going to tell us how many parts are being counted or shaded. So counted or shaded. Denominator is the number below the fraction line. So here's the fraction line. This is the denominator. It tells many. Oh, must be how. It tells how many equal parts are in the whole or group. So this is going to tell me how many in all. Okay, so I know that I have 2 that are shaded. Equal parts in the whole are going to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically, how is this square divided up into? Remember last year we talked about halves, fourths, and eighths? So this is telling me how many is there all together in all, in that whole group or whole. Okay, so let's go over this. Fraction. A number that means a part of a whole or parts of a group. Okay. Numerator. The number above the fraction line tells how many parts are counted or shaded. Denominator. The number below the fraction line tells how many equal parts are in the whole or group. Okay. So let's for this next activity that you're going to do, you are going to need these fraction circles. You have this. I want you to go ahead and cut them out. So go ahead and cut out your fraction circles before you move on to the next activity.